Hello YouTube, this is Dr. Ronald W. Satz, founder and chair of the International Society of Unified Science and president of TransPower Corporation, a commercial and custom software manufacturing and certified systems engineering company. I work as a systems and mechanical engineer and as a theoretical physicist. Today, as with most of my screencasts, we'll be discussing the reciprocal system of physical theory and its opposition in the conventional theoretical physics community. Two topics today: an imminent collapse to the universe, question mark, and a globular cluster forming. So here we go. And I have to say, most of my opponents are truly bonkers. Here's a perfect example of it. This one actually comes from Channel 13 CBS Sacramento. The title of this piece is "Researchers Predict Imminent Collapse of the Universe After a Period of Rapid Expansion." This is a hoot. So it says here, physicists predict the universe is primed for a cosmological collapse that will cause the universe to stop expanding at its current rate and ultimately collapse in on itself to wipe away all known matter. Wow. And this stuff actually gets published. Phys.org reports, in this case. It's published by Physical Review Letters. Focus on the dark energy content. Wow. And let's see if there's anything else. The quote, cosmological constant problem is that the predicted vacuum energy density expanding the universe is far greater than what is observed. Yeah, that's the sore point with conventional physicists. That's because they don't understand the space-time progression. So, so they say it's going to be a big crunch, etc., etc. Well, researchers say, quote, there is much to do, so in understanding the specific mechanism which causes the universe to stop expanding and begin shrinking. Well, this is typical of, quote, modern physics. It's nonsense. The reciprocal system, on the other hand, is vastly more rational. Study it and prove it for yourself. Let me explain that the two major forces in the universe are the space-time progression and gravitation. Outside the gravitational limit, and there is a limit to gravitation, the space-time progression is king. Inside the gravitational limit, gravitation is king. The universe expands at an accelerating rate, that is, galaxies expand at, or galaxy clusters to be really exact, expand at an accelerating rate outside the gravitational limit, eventually reaching the speed c. And of course, by then, the galaxy the giant galaxy explodes and creating quasars, which eventually end up in the cosmic or inverse sector. So there's a balance to the universe. So the expansion in our sector is countered by the expansion in time in the other sector. So there's a complete balance. There's a complete symmetry between space and time and between the material sector, which is our sector, and the inverse or cosmic sector. So there's not going to be an imminent collapse to the universe. As usual, my opponents are really sick. Now, on to the second topic here, globular cluster forming. And this one's from Science Daily, which is our go-to place for research news. It says, more than 1 million stars are forming in a mysterious dusty gas cloud in a nearby galaxy. It says, an extremely hot dusty cloud of molecular gas is forming more than 1 million young stars in a tiny nearby galaxy, astronomers report. And I seem a little bit baffled by this. And it says, the star cluster is buried within a supernebula in a dwarf galaxy known as NGC 5253 in the constellation Centaurus. The cluster is 1 billion times the luminosity of our sun, but it is invisible in ordinary light, hidden by its own hot gases. And let's just scroll down and see if there's anything important. The amount of dust surrounding the stars is extraordinary, approximately 15,000 times the mass of our sun, and elements such as carbon and oxygen. And this professor says, we were stunned. Turner is chair of the Department of Physics and Astronomy. And it says, Milky Way has not formed gigantic star clusters for billions of years, Turner said. It's still forming new stars, but not in nearly such large numbers, she said. Some astronomers had believed that such giant star clusters could form only in the early universe. Well, that's nonsense. All right. I think that's probably enough here. Let's go back. And I say this is not a surprise to the reciprocal system. Globular clusters are actually young, not old. The, quote, heavy elements found are also not a surprise because the tremendous ambient neutrino flux eventually induces a, quote, gravitational charge in an associated atom, adding 1 AMU, atomic mass unit, to the total atomic weight. If this puts the isotopic weight of the atom outside the zone of stability, some of the vibrational mass is converted to rotational mass, thus moving the atom to a higher position in the periodic table. Thus, the conventional theory that these heavier elements are formed by supernovae fusion is dead wrong. Globular clusters too young to have had any supernovae. Now, it may have a few stragglers like those O stars and B stars. Essentially what happened here is that this dwarf galaxy captured a globular cluster, which is in the process of forming, millions or even a billion or so stars in the globular cluster. This dwarf galaxy captured it. And this goes on all the time. Galaxies capture globular clusters. That's the source of the star formation. Stars can't form directly within a galaxy, except, of course, by supernovae explosions, which create usually a white dwarf and red giant pair. But stars can't form in the interstices between stars because the stars soak up, accrete all the matter between the stars. So it has to come from the outside. So this is no big surprise. Capturing globular clusters happens all the time. And incidentally, as the globular cluster slowly is absorbed into a galaxy, it turns into a galactic cluster. So galactic clusters are actually older than globular clusters. The youngest entities in the universe are actually globular clusters. This is directly opposite to the current view, which says globular clusters are the oldest things in the universe. So as usual, my opponents have everything upside down. Okay, that does it for today. Thanks for your attention. If you want the simplest possible treatment of the reciprocal system, obtain my work. The Unmysterious Universe has all the concepts, very little mathematics. Simplest treatment. Now, if you want all the mathematics, then please obtain my work. Existence and Interactions, a computational treatise of the reciprocal system, the true theory of everything. 711 pages in the PDF, 711 slides in the PowerPoint file, thousands and thousands of equations, diagrams, tables. It'll keep you busy for months studying that. It's only $33 from Amazon or transpowercorp.com. Once you get through that, if you want to really apply the theory, you can get my 2 database modules, one for the microcosmos and one for the macrocosmos. The reciprocal system microcosmos database has all the properties of photons, subatoms, atoms, compounds, and alloys. The reciprocal system macrocosmos database has all properties of the universe as a whole: galaxy clusters, galaxies, star clusters, stars, planets, moons, minor bodies, nebulae, and voids. These 2 modules make it very easy to apply the reciprocal system to your scientific or engineering practice. So again, study the reciprocal system and prove it for yourself. Thanks for your attention.